As you be aware, it was pushed through, and it was
2 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it really was a set-up job. It was a snow job. They got the people they wanted to. There's a lot of people they should have had there that didn't present. Well, when I presented, and probably I should have started with you try to be polite, but I probably should have started with, look, as far as I'm concerned, the increase in the tax on Australian businesses, whether it's listed shares or Australian business, is economic vandalism. Maybe that's how I should have started, but I was more polite. But to me, the interesting thing was, the two Liberal senators. I think I don't know, there was 8 or 9 on a panel. The 2 Liberal senators asked me some questions. The Green Senator Nick McKim asked me some questions. And all the Labor senators, when I looked at them, not one of them asked me the questions, and a number of them were texting or looking at their phones. So, they knew it was a foregone conclusion. They knew it was a snow job. They had no interest. That's the Australian government system.
It's frightening.
It's embarrassing. Yeah, highly embarrassing. Yeah, highly embarrassing. But
so what's it going to take for a government to listen then, if that's the case?
To me, what it'll take for the government to listen is effectively them understanding that they're going to lose seats. Because when people all of a sudden are going to lose their jobs, it's people probably ringing up their local member and telling them that they want Australian businesses and shares carved out, or writing letters, probably calling them is better, and putting pressure, particularly starting on the marginal seats, because everyone does what's in their own best interest.
Of course they do.
And if you think you're going to lose your job, then all of a sudden you'll put a bit more pressure on the on the rest of the politicians in your party. And to me, when we'll publish our research at some point in time to show how many seats Labor will lose. But I think when we published our research on unrealised gains, the taxing of unrealised gains, and it was clear that they'd lose 29 seats. And that only impacted 80,000 people. That pressure was brought to bear, and that's unfortunately it's politics. It's a very dirty game, politics. To me, I know you're used to the corporate world, and I enjoy the corporate world.
But first and foremost, I'm an Australian.
Oh no, I accept that.
I want my country and everyone has the right opportunity to do the best they can.
100%. But the corporate world, to me, it's like Queensberry rules. Where in the corporate world you punch above the belt.
Yep.
Where in politics, and I was dragged in back in 2019, I think Bill Shorten, sort of dragged me in, and I've been dragged in both. I think Jim Chalmers brought me up in question time last week.
Oh, he did.
You used my name. I think Anthony Albanese sort of said something, made some rude comments, but that reflects badly on him just before the budget. So politics is cage fighting. It's a dirty game.